Hello, everyone, and welcome to the club. So, today we will continue our Six Sigma learning program, and we will continue with lesson number 7. And this lesson number 7 comprises of the summarization of the defined phase of the Six Sigma learning program. So we have dealt with the deliverables in brief in previous lessons of the defined phase, but today we're going to summarize the deliverables that you need to have for the defined phase before you proceed to the measure phase. So let's have a look on what we need to deliver in the defined phase. So this is our DMAIC process that we have seen in our previous lessons, and which is, of course, your process improvement roadmap for the particular process that you have chosen to improve. But today our focus will only be this part, which is the define phase of the DMAIC methodology. So define phase, as we have seen in the previous lessons, is basically to define the opportunities, as also mentioned in front of your screen. So here we are going to define and refine our opportunities for improvement. So the bigger question here is, what is important? Many a times I have witnessed during my consultation with companies that people are not aware what their problem is. So the biggest problem of the most of the time in the corporate world is the biggest problem is that they do not know what the problem is. So actually, if you are not able to write your problem in let's say half of A4 size paper, you actually do not know what your problem is. And when you do not know what your problem exactly is, definitely a solution cannot be had. This define phase is an effort, is an identification of the exact problem that you are currently having. Because sometimes we see the effect of the problem. We see the effect of the problem, and we think, our intellect thinks that this is the problem, and you start acting on the effect, which never kills the root cause. So when you hear a defined phase, you should imagine in your mind that this is the attempt to understand my pain area, my problem. So we are defining the problem, we are refining the problem. For example, if you have, this is very important to understand, because most of the projects I have seen who have never seen the light of the day just because they do not know what the exact problem is. For example, if you have a fever and you start to attempt to eliminate the fever by suppressing it, for example, it's not going to solve the problem. It will crop up maybe at the next opportunity. So you are supposed to kill the reason that is creating the fever. Similarly, in the industry and in our processes, we need to understand what exactly our problem is. And the thumb rule for that is, when somebody asks you, what is your problem? It shouldn't be followed by a story. It should be 2 or 4 lines. If you are able to do that, you know what is your problem. And when you know your problem, the journey for the rest of the DMAIC process becomes very, very easy. So this define phase basically is an attempt to narrow down to know what our problem is. So these are the 5 deliverables that you need to have in the define phase, and we will see them one by one in detail. So first you have the team charter. We will see what is a team charter and what are the ingredients of the team charter. Then you need to have an action plan on basically who will do what in a time-bound process. Then you need to have all the process maps and the sub-process maps of the bigger process that you want to improve. So you should know where is your start, where is your end, and all the processes in between and the sub-processes you must have with you before proceeding to the measure phase. Then the 4th deliverable is quick win opportunities, which is the identification of low-hanging fruits. So when you say low-hanging fruits, it means for which you do not need a statistical analysis or a management analysis, which you can see easily that this is the problem, and also you can see easily the solution for it, and it is just an implementation issue. So these kind of opportunities are called quick win opportunities. You also must identify them before proceeding. And the last deliverable of the define phase is a prepared team, which means that before proceeding further, you must have a team size defined, the people identified, and the relevant training given to them that needs to be implemented during the next phase. For example, if they do not have a statistical background and you require a statistical analysis in the coming phase, then in that case it's time to give them training for the relevant subject. So let's see one by one in detail each of the points of the define phase. So let's begin our team charter, the first requirement. Let's see what comprises of a team charter. So basically, a team charter comprises of further 6 elements, and from my experience I tell you this is the most important part of a Six Sigma project. I have seen many projects which haven't been successful, and the reason has been that the team charter was faulty. The team charter was not built up in the right spirit of the Six Sigma philosophy. So the team charter comprises of 6 elements: the business case, why you are doing this project, opportunity statement, what is it going to have an impact on your business, what is your target, what is your goal statement, project scope, project plan, and the team selection, who will do what. So we will see each of the 6 elements of the team charter in detail.
Business case wants us to answer a very basic question. Why in this organization are you doing this project? In any organization, you are not doing any Six Sigma project or any project for that matter for academic purpose. So the question is, why in my organization or why in your organization you are doing this project? So every company in the world has its business objectives, has its 1-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, which is called the vision of the organization. And from that, you have the business strategies, which are boiled down to yearly or 6-monthly. So the question we are asking you is whether your project is aligned to the overall business objectives or not. That means if you get success in your project, is it going to benefit or contribute my business vision at a higher level, my business strategy, and my business indicators? For example, a company might have uh, an annual strategy to pump up the production uh, to a double or a triple level. That could be the company's objective, but you are working on a project that is a good one, but it addresses the health and safety of the workers to reduce the number of incidents on the production line or to reduce the environmental incidents in the organization. Now, this being a good project still is does not qualify good enough for a business case because it is not aligned with the management strategy. It is not aligned with the business vision. Why you are doing this project has to have an answer. Simple, because it addresses my business vision, because it addresses the company strategy, and that's it. So if you are able to answer the question that my project deliverable in the end will contribute to the business strategy, that's it. You have answered the business case. So the business case describes the benefit for undertaking the project. So these are the five questions in front of you that you need to answer more or less in a business case, which I have already narrated before. That does this project align with other business initiative? I mean, everybody is working for productivity improvement, and you are working for health and safety issues, or vendor issues, or employee welfare, or environmental issues. So this is a disconnect between your project deliverables and what I want as an organization management. Then what is the focus of the project team? This is refining of the same answer, that is your business, is your project aligned to the management strategy or not? So where is your focus? Can you please detail it? Then what impacts, as I said, what impacts will this project have on other business units or employees? So it will have this business impacts on other business subunits or on other sub businesses or business employees. Now, whether this benefit is linked to the overall strategy of the business, overall 3-year plans of the business or not, that is the answer we are in search for in the business case. Now, have the benefits been derived from this project? So when we say benefits, the next bullet clarifies what we are actually asking for. We are asking for the quantification of the benefits that this project is going to have. So have you quantified how much you are going to benefit the business strategies, how much you are going to contribute to the business vision? So you answered already yes, that I am definitely, my project is definitely going to address the business 3-year plan or strategies or mission, but I have not quantified how much. So if you have not quantified, again, this is not a good business case. And these are the portions where people get just hurried up in completing the business case. And that's the reason I have witnessed that many projects have failed. They have never seen the light of the day. They have never reached the review level, just because the foundation was weak. And this is the foundation. As a business owner, if you're doing something that is not aligned to my vision or aligned to the corporate vision, I tell you, it's useless for me. So you have to think from the management perspective in business case, because at the end of the day, I as owner of the organization have to support you, have to maybe give you funding for this project. But if you are not aligned to my objectives, why will I give you money? And that's why the management loses interest, and finally the project is put in the shelf. Bye bye. And the projects are a disaster. It's not because it's a bad project, because it's not answering the questions of the management.
So now let's take a look at an example of a business case. It says, in the external audit, a non-conformance was raised by the auditor on 16th January 2021. So he's being specific here that the defect rate was on the rise consistently and no analysis was evident on the root cause and the preventive action taken thereof. The current defect rate is 3%. So the yellow portion that you see now is actually the trigger from where the project has come, right? So there has to be a trigger why you are doing this project. The yellow color text is actually the trigger from where the project is coming from. So it's a very valuable trigger, because an external auditor has raised a non-conformance on the defect rate, which is also quantified as 3%. Now the white portion is the alignment with the management vision, is the alignment with the objective of the management, which we have been seeing is mandatory. So what is the link with the management vision? That is, the management has the annual objective of reducing the cost of production by 9% by the use of lean methods of production. So the management wants to reduce the cost of production by 9%. Okay. What next? This 3% defect rate amounts to 300,000 US dollars. Why? Because it's the cost of rework, the cost of rejection, and the overtime that is required to rework the defects. And that's annual cost of rework. So see the quantification. Why I am showing you this example is because I want you to understand the quantification of the problem and its linkage. I repeat, its linkage with the management objective, with the management strategy, with the management goal. And what will be the benefit to the organization? What will be the contribution of this project to the organization? It will be that the cost of production will reduce by 4%. So we have also quantified the benefit that is going to happen to the organization. Coming to the next element of the team charter is the opportunity statement, which is nothing but the pain area. Here we have to describe where the process gives you pain, which is the pain area. Let us understand the opportunity statement by an example which is in continuation of the business case that we have already seen. So here is the example of the opportunity statement. We currently have an average defect rate of 3.1%. So he has already described the pain. We currently have an average defect rate of 3.1% measured over the last 4 months. So you have to give the time period as well. Against our production process target of less than 0.9%. So his pain area is that against the target of 0.9%, less than 0.9%, the current defect rate is 3.1% on an average. So this is the pain. Now we have, now forget about the linkage with the management objective. That part is over. Now you have to
described the pain in your local process. We have become local now. So what is the local pain? That in my production the defect rate is 3.1% against my target of less than 0.9%. Coming on to the next element of the team charter is the goal statement. So what is this goal statement? Goal statement decides whether you have succeeded in your project or not. It is the success criteria of your Six Sigma project.
Goal statement is basically a from and to statement. That means I want to go from this position currently to this position. So it's basically a from and to statement. So I want to go from a production target of 1000 units in a shift to 1200 units in a shift, or I want to reduce my defect rate, let's say in the previous example, from 3.1% to less than 1%. So it's a from and to statement. So this goal statement decides whether you have been successful in your Six Sigma project or not during the review stage. Because, for example, if you have not reduced the defect rate to 1%, that means you have not reached the to position. So it's a from and to statement. One thing that you must take care of in writing a goal statement is to be practical. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to change the whole world in your Six Sigma project. Your goal should be practical. You use the SMART objectives. I'm sure you know the SMART objectives. These days they are very commonly used by the corporate. So use the SMART objectives that are practical, reliable, measurable, and attainable. So if you say a goal statement that I want to reduce my defect rate from 3.1% to 0, it's never going to happen. Six Sigma projects, especially of the kind of the green belt, are not designed to have that kind of improvement. We will see in our next classes what is the thumb rule of how much improvement then we should have. But as a thumb rule, as of now, for a green belt, you can take the 3x factor. So that means it should be you should be able to achieve 3x improvement in whatever you are doing. If you are improving the production or you're reducing the defects or whatever, the thumb rule is a 3x, 3 times the improvement from the current level. So that is basically what you have to write in a goal statement, where you are from at the moment and where you wish to reach. That's your goal, and it is practical.
Let's have a look at the goal statement example. To reduce the defect rate from the current 3.1% to less than 1% in a period of 3 months. Please note that he has very specifically defined the time frame also within which the improvement is supposed to happen. So it's a time bound goal statement with clear from and to limits, and it is practical, and it is around 3x improvement. Next in line is the project scope, which tells you the boundaries of the project. That means here you have to describe what processes are included in the project and what are excluded. So that's a typical example of a project scope. So you have to clearly mention the process on which you're applying your Six Sigma project. That is the project you want to improve. So here I've just taken an example from the refrigerator industry. The process that we want to improve is refrigerator assembly, not any other portion of the refrigerator plant, refrigerator assembly. And in that also, where is the start? At the cabinet forming station. Where is the end of the process? Door assembly. That means after door assembly, we are not concerned. Our project is from the cabinet forming to the doors assembly. And what is included in the scope? What is included in our Six Sigma project? All the sub assembly lines that are feeding the rear part. And what is excluded? All inspection stages in between are excluded, and so on. So this is how you have to do the project scoping. Project scoping is also very important part of the project charter, because people have taken a very huge scope in the Six Sigma project, and that constitutes one of the very vital reasons why their Six Sigma project has failed. Project plan. So project plan is a list of activities at a higher level, at a very high level, on what will be the stages of DMAIC. So by when you will finish define, by when you will finish measure phase, by when you will finish the analyze phase, and so on. So basically it's a sort of Gantt chart that describes when each phase will start and when each phase of the DMAIC will end. And as I said, it has to be a high level plan at a very macro stage. Minute details are not required at this stage in the project plan. So this is how a typical project plan looks like, where you have on the right hand side the months. Month 1, what will you do? In the month 2, what all activities will conclude and start? Similarly, in month 3, what are the activities that will parallelly run? So it doesn't have to be that you will end something and then start something. As you can see in the chart, there are some parallel activities which are running from month 2 to month 4. So basically it's a split of activities and their spread of time frame from and when they will start and end. And on the left hand side you can see the list of activities that we will complete in the this currently 5-month period that you see on your screen. But this is just an example. You can make it weekly wise, or some people make it also daily wise, although that becomes quite hectic. But it is up to you, because it actually depends on the nature of the project and what are the sub processes involved in that project. But typically from my experience, most of the time it is better to have a monthly breakup of activities as shown on the screen. So finally, to conclude the team charter, the last element is the team selection. That means who all will participate in this project and what will they do. That means what will be their roles in the project team.
While selecting the team for the Six Sigma project, just ensure that the number of people are not too many, because there is a problem of consensus on when you come to a decision. People don't agree, so it's a consensus problem. And also there is not too less people, then we have the problem of shortage of ideas. So typically, Six Sigma Green Belt project should have a team strength of something like 5 to 9 members. Less than 5 is a shortage of ideas we have seen, and more than 9 is a consensus problem.
All right, then, we now come to the end of the team charter. And the next deliverable in the define phase is the action plan.
Right then, action plan. That is the next deliverable in the define phase. Now, in the action plan, similar to the project plan, which was in the project charter, here you have something additional, which is also the names of the people. So in the action plan, you will have who will do what, when.
In our next class, in lesson number 8, we will see some examples of action plan and also discuss in detail about process maps, quick win opportunities, and the prepared team. What do you mean by a prepared team? So all these 3 topics, process maps, quick win opportunities, and prepared team, we will see in the next class, lesson number 8.
So hope you had a great time. Take care of your health and see you until next time.